on Instagram or LinkedIn. We are going to be having our churro making very soon. Hello, my name is Deanna. I am going to be your host for today for this very tasty and sweet event. Now, if you are going to be creating the churros with us today and you received a kit, you want to have a nice clear space in your kitchen to create these delicious treats. We're also going to be working with oil today, so just having that out, maybe already in your pot. You are going to need lots of kitchen equipment. So if you wanted to go ahead and just peek at my prep instructions here to see anything that you might need. Of course, a large or medium saucepan. We are going to be frying up these delicious churros today. But you also need a bunch of little other things like a mixing bowl, spoons, tongs, measuring cups. So definitely go ahead, take a look at that. And of course, you are going to need some cooking oil. This might look like vegetable or canola oil. And then access to some water. So we've got a lot of things you're going to need today, so definitely having a nice clear space in your kitchen. But hello again, my name is Deanna. I hope you are very excited for some churros, as I am. Drop into the chat box, maybe, if you've ever had churros before, if this is going to be your first time. I'd love to know. And if you are just following along, like watching us today, and you aren't going to making a churros, take some notes. So later on, you could absolutely go ahead and make yourself some perfect churros. But we are going to be getting started in about 3 minutes. We're going to give everyone a little bit of time to get all set up for today. So hello again, my name is Deanna, and I am very excited for some churro making. All right, hello again. If you are watching on Zoom or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever you're watching it, or maybe you're going to be watching this in the future as we post it on YouTube. So hello to you in the future. My name is Deanna. I am going to be your host today for our delicious and tasty churro making. I am very excited to invite you here today for this because it's wonderful and yummy. We are going to be making something that you get to eat when you're done, and they are churros. I'd love to know if you've ever had a churro before, if this is your first time making them. Drop into the chat box your churro experience. And right now we do have some prep instructions on the screen. So if you are creating these delicious treats with us today and you received a kit from us, have that open. You're going to need a nice clear space to do this in your kitchen, of course, because we are going to be cooking these bad boys up. So we're going to need to have a little list of some kitchen equipment. So some of those things might look like a pan, both for frying, but also for creating our dough. We're going to need some mixing bowls, measuring cups, spoons. So if you want to take a peek at this, I will also drop into the chat box a link to these prep instructions so you have them as we go through our event together. We're also going to need a couple other things from your kitchen, like a cooking oil, because we are going to be frying our dough today. So if you have vegetable or canola oil, either will work perfectly fine for this, or if you have another type of neutral oil, maybe that is good for deep frying. And we will need some water, so having access to your water from your sink would be fabulous. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start kicking the party off. So of course, what are we doing today? Well, we are going to be learning about churros. Maybe this is your first time ever being experienced something like churros, so you're going to learn a little bit about those, and of course some piping and frying techniques. So how can you make them? Inside of your kit, if you receive one, you're going to see that you have things like a piping bag, right? And so we're going to learn how we can utilize that. Now, if you are not creating churros with us today and you're just watching along, maybe you want to make them at a later time, definitely go ahead and take some notes. You're going to be learning lots today, so you'll be able to make these later on. All right, everyone. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen there because I would love to really get into this. So I'm going to pass it off to our instructor who will guide us through our churro making today. So everyone, give it up a round of applause for Amy. Hello, Amy.
Hi everyone. Are you hearing me? 1 second.
Yep, yes, a little bit of an echo.
There you guys should be okay.
Yep, you sound great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining me today. My name is Amy and I will be your instructor for today's food craft activity. I know that we do this every month, and so this is actually one of the activities that I'm so excited to try. I love churro. Every time I think about churro, it takes me back on that late night work shift when I used to live in New York City. I would go down the subway. Somewhere in the subway you would see a lady selling that $1 churro. It's usually about like this big, about a feet, I guess, or 12 inches. And I would eat that on the way home around like 12 or 1 o'clock. It's my end of the day special treat. And so making this at home, it's quite convenient because now that I live in Fort Worth, Texas, it's not like you can see Subway and just go there, grab some churros. So I am so excited to be making this with you all today. Some fun things. We sent you everything that you need to make the churro at home. We have a box that you should all have. We chose to send this back instead of the flour and all this stuff. So it's convenient for you. We will be making this in the next 40 minutes. So after 40 minutes or even 30 minutes, you should be eating some churros already. Earlier, Diana asked a question if anyone has tried churro. As I said, I've tried churro for sure, but I'm curious, what is your favorite topping or dipping sauce? So mine is recently I got into like matcha. I know it's not classic, but churro with matcha cream tastes so good. I wanted to know with other teams or other people in the group, what is your favorite dipping sauce for a churro? I would love to hear it. Are we thinking chocolate? So anything chocolate, yes, I like that a lot. Are we thinking Nutella or maybe something else, Diana? Hi there. Nice to see you here. I know it's a classic one is dulce de leche. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't know how, but it's so good. But dulce de leche is basically caramel. So you all have a caramel in your kit as well. In fact, we're gonna go through your kit right now. As I mentioned, you should have a box. I want you to open the box because inside the box you will find your piping bag with piping tip. Okay? Open your box. We're gonna get our churro mixture, and inside the box you will find the piping bag and piping tip because you might be freaking out. I'm like, where is my piping bag? Well, it's inside. Quite convenient, so you don't lose it. So that's the first thing that you're gonna see. You're also gonna see some cinnamon sugar. So cinnamon sugar is also in your kit. Should look like this. And you should also some toppings. We have some Nutella right here, small bottle or small glass jar, and some caramel as well. Those are the main things you're going to find. If you find that you happen to have extra piping bag, that is because we will be making only half of the recipe. This whole churro box, I myself, even with my husband, we can't finish the entire thing. Maybe if you're feeding the entire family, maybe it should be okay. But we will be just making half of it. So don't worry about leftovers. In fact, I do like it when you're eating the churro fresh. So it's a good idea to just make half first and then make it when you're about to eat it. Fresh ones are always better. Let's talk about churro. Anyone here made churro before? No? Fun fact, churro is actually the cousin of eclair. I love eclair. Whenever I go to Little Italy in Manhattan, that's what I go to. But it's actually called choux pastry, and Diana can type that in. Quite interesting word, and if probably if you say that, these sound fancy, but it is similar to eclair, right? And it's airy dough, basically, fried airy dough. So the way it works is that you mix some flour, water, some butter. In this specific mix, they also have some sort of, preservatives. But typically, if you make it at home, flour, sugar, baking soda, you could put some milk powder, fresh butter if you want to. But it's quite easy to make the mixture. There you go. Diana typed that in. So shoe pastry, quite fancy word that we're gonna learn today as well. So as I said, you have a mix already. First things first, I want us to make sure that we have some boiling water. If you haven't had the water boiling, now is the right time. So we need about 2.5 cups. So I'll give you some time. Okay. I'll give you some time. Now you should be opening your kit. Right after you open the kit, you wanted to grab like a kettle. If you just want to go to the microwave, pop that into microwave, that's fine. But we need about 2.5 cups of water. Happy anniversary. That's so cool. There you go. Oh, our first anniversary. Gotcha. Awesome. That's nice. Well, there's going to be a churro for sure in that memory. So I love that. All right. You should be boiling your water at this point. The reason why we need boiling water is that we're actually going to need the water to mix with the mixture, right? And from that, we're going to create a dough. So we'll give you some time. I'll give you a good 30 seconds to pop that in. Some fun facts while you guys are doing that. There's always this, I was talking to my husband about it and I was telling like, did you know that churro is not from Mexico? And I was like, huh, like, because, we always think of like churro is related to Mexico. It is actually from Spain, originated in Spain. So they believe that, Portuguese and brought it to China and created something similar about fried dough as well there. And then they believe that Spaniards brought it to Mexico. The key difference is that in Mexico, they use cinnamon and sugar, and the dough is a lot more thinner. It's a lot more airy compared to a Spanish churro. It's a lot thicker, and they just put sugar, no cinnamon, but instead they dip it in thick chocolate. So if you see a churro with cinnamon, most likely Mexican inspired. But if you just see churro with sugar, that is Spanish inspired, if that makes sense. Cool, cool. So let's say if everyone, I hope you guys have your water because that is an important step. We're gonna go open our kit. I actually have two cameras. So one where you're seeing my face, maybe there's a lot of lights right now going on. But I'm gonna turn that off so you can focus on that one camera where you can see my bowl. So if you see my spoon right here, this is the camera you're gonna be looking at. I'm gonna turn off my camera right here so it's not distracting. There you go. And we're gonna go to this one. As I said, we're gonna be using only half, okay? I want us to open the bag. Now you probably just wanna have an eyeball, like just, think of it like probably that one, half a packet, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna transfer that to a bowl. So earlier, Diana told you to get some bowl. If you haven't, please do so. I don't have a medium bowl. This is the bowl that I have. So I'm gonna pour about half of that in my bowl. So while you're boiling some water, we're gonna grab a bowl, pour half of the mixture. That's about half. And I'm gonna keep the rest of the container inside the bag, right? I will not throw the box because there's some information there that you might find helpful. If instructions are there as well, but later on, Diana and I will be sending you also the recipe. So far, we're boiling our water. We have flour in a bowl. Okay. So we'll have that going on. It's about half. Well, I'll keep that inside. You also need some sort of like a sturdy spoon. I think you might have like spatula, but I find that the sturdy spoon is a lot easier to mix the mixture later. So we'll keep that aside. Another thing that you need is I want you to grab your cinnamon sugar mix. Now, I know some people who doesn't not like cinnamon. If you are that type of person, it's okay. Probably just grab some sugar, right? Because this is already mixed. I'm going to put that in my other bowl. Pour that right here. The reason why it's good to have it prepped because when you're coating your churro, it's actually best to coat it when it's hot. It's best to coat it when it's hot. So I kind of like my bowl with cinnamon and sugar. This one smells really good. We actually use the cinnamon sticks and we grind it so it has more stronger cinnamon taste. So that is definitely a treat. And I want you to grab your piping bag. So I hope you found your piping bag inside. This one actually has a hole already, but it's not that big. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you receive your piping bag into, you might receive it through something like this, right? Now, what you're going to do is that you want it to fold it, set up, and then, I don't know, but this one works for me. I would put my pointing finger in my piping bag and I would put it like this until I reach the bottom. Now, as I said, it's not going to reach because it's too small. So I would push it all the way as close to the hole as possible, to the tip, and I would grab some scissors. Now, it's better if you cut it small and go bigger because once you go cut big, then it's impossible to go smaller, right? So let's just cut it little by little until you can push the piping tip all the way that where it's sticking out. So far I have that. You see, I already cut it this way. I will try to push it. If not, I will just cut it until I can push it down. Try it one more time. So now you can see that my tip is actually sticking out a little bit. I'm just gonna pull it. And it should look like this. There you go, that should be bigger. So now that's it like that. I'll put that on the side. So let's have a recap again. We have some boiling water ready, right? It should be boiling right now. If it's not, awesome. I have a half of my churro mixture in a bowl. I have my wooden spoon. I also opened my cinnamon sugar packet and put it in another bowl. Looks like this. You're welcome to skip it or just use regular sugar. And I have my piping bag. We'll cut it and make sure it's sticking out. Now, sometimes when it gets too big, it's hard because it's possible that the mixture will come out. You have to be careful in that. Like now, if you say like, "Oh, I made it too big," it's quite convenient that we have some extra piping bags, so you guys can use that as well. All right. I hope our water is ready because we're about to start creating a mixture. So we have this flour right here, and we're gonna create the mixture that I was saying. You're welcome to use a measuring cup, but we need about 2.5 cups of hot water. Now it's not exactly 2.5 cups. I actually use about two cups and about a quarter. I just want to have some extra. So I already have my hot water earlier on. I'm gonna pour that so I can measure it. I'll start with at least 2 cups for now. Okay, start with 2 cups. It doesn't have to be boiling, boiling, boiling. As long as it's like hot. I'm gonna add just a little bit first and mix it. Now, when it comes to consistency, it's going to be clumpy. We're not looking for smooth. It's not gonna be like a dough of pizza, right? It's gonna be clumpy. Just gonna add more water. Again, I'm starting with 2 cups of hot water using my half mixture of this churro mix. Now, if you wanted to use the whole thing, everything that I say, you just have to double it. So you're gonna be using 4 cups minimum. So I'm gonna add more. One thing I like about having the churro mix that is from Tres Estes is that, it's gonna last long, especially in food craft. We ship internationally. At least we don't have to worry about that. And even like things like butter, you don't have to buy butter because it's already mixed. So that is pretty convenient. We're gonna keep adding water. I'm gonna show you the texture so far. So far, I added on 1 cup, right? I've added 1 cup so far. Now, just let's say, for example, what can go wrong, right? You added too much water. Is it possible you added too much water? How do you fix it? So it's good that we have some extra churro mix. So you just want to add a little bit more of, but I mean, of the flour. But for the most part, like what is it? It's going to be clumpy, right? It's not going to be smooth. More, right? If you can, I want to know where you guys streaming from. As I mentioned, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. I actually moved from New York City to Fort Worth, Texas about 3 years ago. I can't believe that. I can no longer say that I moved recently because 3 years ago is not recent, right? So this is what I have so far. Now, I don't know why, for some reason, I find it a little bit runny for me. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Is it possible that I did not um, add flour? Just a little bit. I would say a little bit for me is about 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna show you the consistency that I like right after this. You're looking for clumpy, slow, right? It's not supposed to be too wet, not too dry, because you have to put it in a piping bag. So I would say probably it looks like that. That looks pretty good to me. So once you have the mixture, I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna ask you guys to start your oil. So earlier, Diana said to start our oil as well. I'm using for today avocado oil, but you're welcome to use any oil that you have. It's about 4 cups, but I find that if you're using a smaller pot, you don't need 4 cups. So as long as you have about like, I would say like 2 inches deep, that's pretty good. Now, while we're waiting for the mixture to rest, some things that I learned. If you don't have a thermometer, there are other ways to find out the temperature. But if you do, let's start with that. You want it to high 350. 350, usually 325 to 375 is the frying temperature, but I find that 350 for churro is a sweet spot. Right now, it's going up to 300, so I need more time. So if you haven't started yours, now is a good time, right? About 4 cups of oil could be less as long as it's about 2 inches deep, like minimum. So that's one way, thermometer. The other way is to actually use your spoon, bamboo spoon, of course. Don't use plastic. I learned this from a cooking show that I was watching. You can dip your bamboo spoon, and if you're seeing bubbles around your spoon, then it's ready. Right now, I'm not seeing bubbles enough, so that makes sense because my thermometer says it's at 300. The other way is later on, you can get a little bit of a dough, very small, and put that in your oil. If it's floating, then most likely it's ready. So either thermometer, bamboo spoon, or you can just get a little bit of a dough and test if your oil is ready. One of the things that makes a good fried chicken or anything that's fried is the temperature of the oil. If you are putting the churro in an oil that is not hot enough, it would sink, right? So if you're using cold oil to fry maybe your fried chicken, what else do we love to fry? Maybe dumplings, it will sink. And honestly, it's not gonna taste good. Um, and if it's too hot, then you're just gonna burn it. So we wanted to find a perfect temperature, about 350 Fahrenheit, or you can do the bamboo spoon trick that I just showed you guys. We have a beers from Fort Lauderdale. I actually have some family there, and yeah, I like going there a lot. I think I do like Fort Lauderdale more than Miami for some reason. I don't know if maybe my friends are just there, but I just do think that it's a good amount of um fun and not too well, that's Miami, not too much traffic. I think that's what I'm saying. All right, so I think this dough is pretty much done. Like what I said, it's going to be clumpy. This is the texture that I have so far, right? And I'm going to grab a glass. This is something that I learned. I used to work in a pastry shop. Um, there's two ways to do it, right? You can just open it, maybe ask someone else to put some dough inside, but I'm only on my own. I'm on my own today. So I'm going to grab a glass and you're gonna put your piping bag, your piping trick, ready? And you're gonna flip the, this is just like that. Um, and this is actually an easier way for you to transfer your dough mixture inside the piping bag. So you should have something like this. I'll give you a good 30 seconds to catch up, but we have our glass, grab some glass, right? You're going to put your piping bag inside the glass, and once you do that, you're just gonna make sure it sits just right in the lid, and we're gonna transfer our dough. All right, we're almost there. I promise you, this frying takes about like good 3 to 5 minutes. It's not going to be a long time. So now we're going to add this dough to our piping bag. Add the dough into our piping bag. If you want to just test it out, right? Don't fill the piping bag too much because it's not that. I'll say I probably transferred about 2 scoops only. I'm going to squeeze it, but not so much. But you should see your dough sticking up from the piping tip at this point. Squeeze it, not so much, but as long as you see that one right there. All right. Of course, like what I said, we have to practice what I preach. I have to check my oil to see that if I have the right temperature. Right now, I'm not sure if you're using a thermometer, but so far mine is going up to 300. I'm gonna wait for it to stop. Let's see. So I'm gonna increase the temperature a little bit more. Now I'm gonna show you, this is not hot enough, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like if it's not hot enough. And you put the dough. It's very sticky at this point, so I'm gonna just use my spoon. Give me 1 second. You will find that if it's not hot enough, it's not gonna even bubble. Mine is not even bubbling at all. Not sure if you're seeing mine, maybe not. I'll bring it closer. And what's gonna happen as well is that it's gonna sink to the bottom. And if it sinks in the bottom, it's just gonna stick. So wait a little bit. Oh, it's actually floating. So maybe it's hotter than what it's telling me. Now, for some of you that are just joining in, maybe you're not cooking. Actually, I want to hear from Diana. Churro is actually considered a street food in a lot of countries. What is your favorite street food? I'm curious. Anyone that's just joining in for fun, watching us, I want to hear from you. What is your go-to street food? Diana, you're welcome to type in the chat. For the rest, you're welcome to do that too. We're just waiting for oil to be ready. I'm gonna bring you closer to it. There you go. Let's see. Oh, Diana, do you have a go-to street food that you like?
I'm trying to think. I love all food. And unfortunately, where I live, right, there's not a lot of street food, so I always think about street food that I really want to try when I go traveling. So I'm hoping to go to Asia sometime soon, and specifically Taiwan. And I've heard a lot about like stinky tofu in Taiwan, and I'm
Oh,
really
yes.
excited to try it. I hear you can you smell it like miles away. And I'm really looking forward to going to like night markets and things like that and trying basically everything. I love to eat, and there's not much I won't try.
I'm curious to once you try it, then maybe I'll try it. You're gonna have to let me know what that tastes like. Abir says she likes kebabs. Me too. I actually am trying to learn how to make kebab. Well, at least season it because I don't do barbecue. But there I find that it's so good. And now that I live in Forward, Texas, I miss having the all the ethnic foods that I used to get in New York or maybe when I go somewhere else. So stinky tofu, maybe I'll try kebab is definitely my go-to. Now I'm going to squeeze. I'm gonna start. I think my thing is ready, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. The way I would do this is that you can go long or you can cut it. Now, when you say cut it, you can use scissors or you can just use spatula. See? So mine, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna, you can wash it first. I'm gonna put it just like that, maybe I like about 3 inches. Now it should like sink for like good 5 seconds and it should float. So mine is floating now. There you go. If it's not floating, then most likely because it's not hot enough. But you can see mine is just like that. To be honest, it's looking like lumpia right now. I'm Filipino, so like this is taking me back. Anything that's fried makes me think about lumpia. But I'm gonna
And
go for more.
Amy, we have a question in the chat box. What
Sure.
temperature are we aiming for the oil to be at again?
So we're looking at 350 right now. So if you have a thermometer, we wanna aim for 350. So you, like what I said, it should float once you fry it. Once you put the dough in the frying pan, 5 seconds it will dip, then it will float. If not, most likely the oil is not ready and you want to wait. I'm gonna do more. I'm really excited for this one because I am needing sugar. Today is one of those days. Your girl needs energy, and sugar is energy. And that's what I'm really excited about today. Now I can add more dough, right, in my piping bag. You don't have to throw the piping tip right away in the bag, but at least the piping tip, save it because you're gonna need it for the rest. I'm gonna do more. I'm making only like small pieces. I actually, well, this one is gonna be a long one because probably double the size. Now, what I like to do sometimes is that when I pipe it, you could also go just one straight line, or you can be like maybe to make an S. I don't know, or maybe make a heart. You can shape it as you pipe it. This one is looking like J, like a candy cane. Right, so I have 4 right now. I could definitely make more, so I'm gonna put this piping back in my glass, open it up, and add the rest of my. For me, once you make actually fresh churro, it's kind of hard to eat a not fresh churro. Um, so I'm excited to hear what you guys think about your churro later on. I don't know if it's, I mean, I guess all fried food has to be eaten fresh, but I think it's more on like specifically for churro. I like how light and airy it is. So that's what I'm looking for really. Now you want it to fry it until it's golden brown, right? So I added more. I'm gonna do this one, I'm gonna make it I'll try my best to make it maybe a U or maybe a round one. Actually U works. Now be careful in the oil. I cook a lot at home, so I'm quite comfortable with oil for me. And but even so, even the best cook can you can get burned. So I think the key here is to make sure that when you are frying something, try to put it away. So don't try to, I'm gonna show you that same mean. When you pipe it away, it's not like this way. It's not towards you. So I'm gonna try one. Pipe it away from you. The other thing is that if it's really like the temperature, if it's too hot, then that's where you get more issues. So I do like to make sure it's 350. It's best to invest in a good thermometer. I actually have this. I bought this because my husband and I we keep on like missing the thermometer. So this is actually magnetic. I put it in my fridge. It works really well. All right, so it's still frying. I mean, it's looking good, but it's not golden brown. So I'm gonna wait a little bit more. Now, later on, one of the things that Deanna and I actually were talking about it, I hate bugs. Like bugs is one of my I'm scared of bugs, I think, more than snakes. So like later on, if you have your churro mix and you want to store it, I think it's best to put them in a jar. Um, and like I said, keep the box, but put the mix in a jar. And that way If you don't want any infestation, or we just want to make sure it's fresh as well. So put them in a jar. That's something you can do later on. We're waiting for a churro mix. We have some caramel. I don't know if I showed you, and I'm sure you have it. We have some caramel, old fashioned caramel. I have some Nutella as well. Although, you know what, today I'm gonna try it with some peanut butter because I need some protein. Maybe it tastes good. We'll see. Cinnamon with peanut butter, maybe not a bad idea. All right, so mine. Now I wanted to say though, like I noticed today I'm using avocado oil, but I noticed that sometimes when I use a different oil, like vegetable oil, my my churro is a little bit darker. So, you know, I would say the ideally you want it golden brown, but if you feel like, you know what, I've been frying this long enough, try one, see what it is. You'll know if it's ready also if the dough in the middle is not wet anymore, right? So you can take a look at that. My churros are chunky for sure. This looks good. Alrighty. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, type in the chat. I would love to hear from you guys. But churros are fun, easy to make. Um, Definitely something good to make during summer holidays or whatnot. I have one that's J, and my the one that I was trying to make a U is now like V, as in Victor. Well, not really. Maybe it's an L. So, Abir, that would be cool. Like if you write your husband name or partner's name in a oil. So I have LG so far. I don't know what that means, but yeah, that would be a fun thing. That will be plus 100 for effort, for sure. All right, I'm actually gonna get one of the small one because I think it's ready. It's not as golden brown as I want it to be, but this has been cooking for a while. Like what I said, it might be my oil. I do have a paper towel in a plate because you want to absorb extra oil as much as possible. Oopsie, like that. Then I'm going to just let it sit right on the sides. It's just two things. I feel like that's been cooking, and I'm gonna try. Like what I said, one side is the color, another side is actually when you try. Okay, this one looks good, but the way I look at it, but I'm gonna try it because I'm really excited. Just be careful because it's really hot. Okay, that looks good. That looks pretty ready. I have a hot hands. Like I can hold things that's hot, but not everybody has that. Maybe because I've been work in restaurants before. So holding the dough like this doesn't bother me. But please don't burn yourself. Get some tongs. Do it the safe way. And I'm going to show you how to coat it in cinnamon sugar. As I mentioned, it's best to coat it when it's hot. So all you have to do is to get your thing and just coat it. Now you can actually make, I've done this in the past. Sometimes I would make cinnamon balls or like churro balls. It doesn't have to be that shape all the time. And I'll keep it on the side. And this one too. Remember that it's always best. It sticks better when the cinnamon sugar will stick better when it's actually hot. All right, well, time flies so fast, Diana. It's literally like what we're 6 minutes down to the end of the event. I'm going to start putting some of this churro on the side. If you wanted to fry more, you're welcome to do so. But I want to start passing off to Diana. But I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me today. This is such a simple activity, like what I said. Um, like what I said, you are welcome to make them all or just make some of it. You don't have to make the whole thing. And you're welcome to try that brand, but we can also send you a recipe if you want to make a churro mix from this scratch. Um, Yes, I totally agree with that, Hannah. I'll pass it to Diana. Thanks again, everyone. And, we appreciate you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Amy, for guiding us through that. And it's been it's been fun seeing in the chat box our experiences of you're trying to make a heart, which would be so cute. But Hannah's Hannah's very excited about their new churro skills, but also made a churro blob. So I like to say it doesn't matter the shape, right? So long as it tastes good. I feel like that's the most important. So thank you so much, everyone, for trying out maybe something new today, or maybe you're gonna try it later on. But you were like, I need to watch how it all works first. I'm also very jealous because I don't have any churros right now, so I'm living vicariously through everyone. So I am just gonna really quick share my screen one last time here just to go ahead and kind of close us out and talk a little bit about some other workshops that we'll be having this year because we love to have these community events. We love to be able to have people come and join us and chit chat with us, whether they're going to be making it with us or just hanging out. It's something that's really important to us. So we want to make sure you're marking your calendars to save these dates for the rest of 2025. So some of our upcoming will be in August. We're going to be getting on our feet. We're going to be dancing, doing a little salsa dancing. So, August 6th, 3 p.m. Make sure you've got a nice clear space so you can get moving. On September 3rd, we're going to be learning how to make a mandala magnet, doing mandala art, which is really beautiful and something I love to do. So we would love to see you there. And then getting tasty again. In October, we're going to be making hummus, but it's going to be fall edition, right? So if you love hummus, which you should, hummus is delicious. We're going to be teaching you a couple amazing recipes to really ring in the fall season. So we're very excited to see you there. Again, we love it. Oh, thank you so much, Abir. We love having you here. It's always so great to see your name pop up. So thank you so much. I hope I can see you for these next upcoming ones. And please, everyone, join us. Join us for the next one. And maybe we can see you for an event in the future too. So thank you so much. Enjoy your churros, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.